Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be discussing Sign by Kerr. Now before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled on this manhwa, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. Now for those of you left behind, let's talk about some content warnings. There may be references to ableism, rape, sexual assault, violence, and abuse as they do appear in this manhwa. Now if none of that's going to bother you, let's go ahead and get started. Now as always, let's start out with a quick synopsis. Kang Sua's life isn't all that great right now. He has almost no money left in his bank account, his laptop is broken, and he doesn't have a job. So to better his situation, he goes out on the hunt for a job, trying to find someone with free Wi-Fi so he can apply to jobs on his phone. The moment he does find a connection, though, he's hosed down by a strange man on the balcony of a cafe. Absolutely shocked by his terrible luck, he passes out. When he wakes up, he's in the cafe, and the strange man is looking over him with an equally odd little man beside him. It turns out they're workers at Cafe Goyo. Johan being the owner who sprayed Sua down, and Yoon being an employee helping out. As retribution for being assaulted with a water hose, Sua begs for a part-time job at the cafe. At first, Yoon refuses, but after some desperate persuasion from Sua and some pitying tears from Johan, Yoon relents. On his first day, Sua tries to communicate with Johan only to discover that Johan is deaf. However, that isn't the only thing Sua learns. It turns out that Sua is attracted to Johan's voice, which of course makes working together incredibly awkward. So, to avoid more embarrassing scenarios, Sua makes it a point to learn sign language, but he has to learn from Johan. So Sua must do his best to learn sign language from Johan without ever hearing his voice. Easier said than done. What would Johan think if he found out about Sua's weird fetish? Let me go ahead and say this is one of my favorite manhwa in all of existence. It has just the right amount of wholesome, fluffiness, comedy, and drama with a splash of sexy time all rolled into one. With that being said, I'm extremely biased. When I first wrote the initial review, I think I had read it around 6 times. And now doing the recorded review, I've read it about 16 times. And I'll probably have read it even more after this review comes out. It's a great one. And in my opinion, if you don't read this one, you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice. With that, let me tell you some reasons why it's so amazing. Now, this has one of the most unique art styles I've ever seen. I actually almost didn't read this one because I saw the art on the cover and didn't think I would like it. Is it the prettiest? No, I wouldn't say so. Is it perfect all the time? No, I wouldn't say that either. But there is something about the style that's particularly sweet. It's cute. That is the best way I can describe it. It is pretty sketchy early on, but it cleans up as it goes on, with the character designs coming into their own. The art style paired with the story really just cements this as one of the sweetest, lovey-dovey romances you'll ever see. Somehow, it also fits the sexy scenes. Don't ask me how. It's absolute witchcraft, and I love it. Speaking of character designs, I have to talk about my 2 favorite beings of all time, Sua and Johan. Johan is a big teddy bear. He's absolutely adorable, and when he's in the bedroom, he goes into instant daddy mode. However, he isn't even the best design. That goes to Sua. He doesn't look like your typical bottom. He isn't particularly pretty and is actually really average looking, which makes him even sexier. I'm not gonna lie, when I read BL, I typically like to picture myself as the bottom. Am I depraved? Yes, but I won't apologize for it. Because Sua isn't this perfect specimen we usually see in manhwa, everything felt much more realistic and satisfying. And I don't just mean the sexy time. His comedic timing, his pain, and everything in between felt so much more real simply because his design is so much more realistic than what I'm used to seeing in other manhwa. I honestly can't praise the artist enough here. I promise you, the moment I find something else from Kerr licensed in English, I'll be throwing all my money at it. This is well worth every cent. Now, moving on from the art, let's talk about the story, and this is where I'll be a tad bit critical, if you can even really call it that. First off, though, let's talk about the good stuff. What a genius idea for a manhwa. First, Johan being deaf is so great. My sister's deaf due to cancer, so I love the representation here. Then for him to be independent, run his cafe, and fight against people's perceptions of disabled people, Johan goes against all the ableist tropes I'm used to seeing with disabled representation. It was everything I could have asked for. This isn't half-assed in any way. We see actual panels of Johan and others signing, and multiple times we see characters tapping tables to get his attention, or him reminding people to look at him so he can see their lips. Never once did it seem like the creator forgot Johan was deaf. Plus, for Suwa to be attracted to Johan's voice, and then for Johan to be attracted to Suwa doing sign language, chef's kiss. Even I was getting attracted to sign language by the end of everything. Now, with all the good stuff out of the way, let's talk about the bad stuff. I say it's bad, but in reality, it's just not the strongest part of the story. One of the primary antagonists is Byung, Gyun's brother. He doesn't really get any background and as a result just seems crazed for the sake of being crazed. It's clear he has anger issues, but again, we don't really see why, so sometimes he felt a bit like a cartoony villain, which was unfortunate since everything else about this felt so down to earth and genuine. Even so, he doesn't appear all that much, so in the grand scheme of things, he's just a tiny smear on an overall perfect story. With all that being said, I don't think I really need to say this, but I will anyway. I love this story so much. I wish we could get a physical version in the United States because you better believe I would order that baby in a second. I implore anyone who's watching this or read my written review to please give this one a try. If you like BL and mature scenes, I promise you will not be disappointed. So, have you read Sign? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know and comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!